Firstly, I'd like to start off by saying thank you so much for joining in and tuning into today's webinar. My name is Anshul Dhawan, and I am the business head for China at the MediaVantage. We have had an overwhelming response to this webinar, and that really gives us a lot of courage to keep pushing these out and producing more of this sort of content. So right off the bat, the world is currently dealing with the COVID-19 in varying degrees. And China is actually showing a lot of strong signs of recovery. And the recent data even suggests that about 95 or 90% of the workforce is back into office. And that is a great, great sign for countries that have not yet reached that, but it gives us a lot of hope that, going forward, that's what we can achieve in a short span of time if we sort of adhere to social distancing and make sure that we are following the rules and regulations properly. Domestic travel is also set for a massive resurgence, and we'll obviously touch upon that a little bit more going forward. A few points for this webinar is that do feel free to send in your questions. We have a Q&A button at the bottom half of your screen. We'll try and get to as many questions as possible. I can't guarantee if we can get through all of the questions, but we'll try our best. If we do miss out on any questions, please feel free to reach out to us directly via email or LinkedIn or Instagram. We'll be more than happy to get back to you. So just to start with it, I just want to sort of set the agenda for today's webinar and what we would be discussing and covering during this 1 hour long session. So first is digital consumption trends during a lockdown. COVID-19 has brought across a lot of change. And of course, digital consumption has not been spared. So media has to sort of adapt to this lockdown as well. And so we're going to talk a little bit about how that's happening and how sort of China is coping up with this change. What the future of Chinese travel looks like in the post-pandemic world. And most importantly, probably how brands can readily and effectively tackle this upsurge that the post-pandemic world will bring. I'd also like to sort of introduce the panelists. We're joined here by Yang, who heads up international business for Tencent Group. Those of you who may or may not know, Tencent Group is the parent company of WeChat. And Mona, who heads up international partnerships at Mafengwo. Mafengwo is probably one of the leading travel platforms, fastest growing travel platforms in China. And she's obviously take us through a little bit more about that. So please feel free to send in your questions, and we will start with Yang. So send in your questions and we'll try and answer as many questions as possible. Yang, do you want to start sharing your screen?
Okay, let me share my screen. So can you see my screen right now?
Yes, yes.
Okay, now first, thank you everyone for joining us today. This is Yang from Tencent. I'm in charge of the international tourism industry marketing corporation. So I'm also looking into the Middle East market. So in today's session, I will share what's happening in China and what changes we see on Tencent platform, and also what we can do, especially the travel industry brands can do in China right now. So let's start. The first good news here is Wuhan will reopen on April 9th after 2 months lockdown. Because Wuhan now is the last city that's still in lockdown in China. So the Wuhan's reopening is a significant milestone in the battle against the deadly outbreak in China, because there is a time that in Wuhan, there is daily thousands of new cases in Wuhan every day, but now the new cases nearly reduced to 0. So it's a big milestone in China right now. And we can also see all of China life or gets back to normal gradually. Transportations, restaurants, attractions are reopening in China. These are some pictures taken in Hubei provinces. So you can see that the people are start to walk around on the streets, and even the bars, restaurants are reopening in China, and the transportation, the metroways are working right now. But the key difference now is that there are less people there in crowded space, and the key difference is that the people still wearing masks as a protection of themselves. And now, even now, the white workers like me are get back to work. So actually the life in China comes back to normal gradually. So what we have gone through to combat COVID-19, here is a trend picture that we can show here to show what China has gone through during the past 2 months. The first cases of confirmed cases was detected on last December, and on January 23rd, the Wuhan started the citywide quarantine to prevent the people from the COVID-19, and soon the whole China is following suit. It means that the whole Chinese people is locking down, and they start to stay at home, and that is a special period for Chinese. That is a Chinese New Year. So previously, it's the largest migration in the whole China, but during that period, almost all Chinese people are to forbid to stay at home. And but a week later, February 3rd, so we've started the national work from home, and 1 month later, March 20th, we have the resumption of on-site working gradually. And the milestone date was March 19th. So Wuhan has 0 new cases. So that is a trend. That is a trend we have gone through the last 2 months. So you can see that the red line here is a confirmed cases, while the green line is a recovered cases. So from the trend, we can see that actually we have less and less confirmed cases in China right now, and the Chinese life, the personal life and the work are gradually return to normal status. But during this special period, actually the whole economy, especially the travel industry, is hitting hard. From the data on the right side, we can see that we have a huge losses in travel industry, and more than 50 international airlines cancel flights to China. And we have seen more than 60% drop of total number of travelers in 2020 CNY. So this trend show that all these changes have reflected to some media and consumption changes in the following parts. While everyone is stay at home, we can see there are 3 key trends arising. The first one is health concerns. So lots of people are paying attention and to care themselves. We can see that 145 increase in the searching behavior around immunity enhancing products, and 271 increase in the search behavior for yoga. So which means that these people are start to work to gym at home. And the second one is home entertainment. So when you are spend more time at home, you will find your ways to entertain yourself. So we can see there is increase in e-gaming and the video consumption. So in e-gaming parts, we can see that there is 100. So here is a huge number. The huge number is there is 120 million daily average users to play the mobile e-gaming Glory of the Kings. This is also the top 1 mobile e-gaming owned by Tencent. And we also see that there is huge increase on online video consumption. So everyone will take more time to watching TV or all this online video content. So the percentage has rising from the 40% to 55%, the rise in percentage of OTT viewers. So all these viewers will watch this video content 6 or more hours a day. So the third one is the shopping. So we can see that when these people are stay at home, so they have to cook for themselves. We have seen a huge increase for these consumers' consumption on food, groceries. You can see that there is a 321 sales revenue increase for fresh daily in the first 7 days of the CNY holidays. And on the other hand, when these people are not going out, so ladies will spend less time and money on their skincare, even wash their hair. So actually the searching behavior related to skincare has been reduced by 57%. All these consumer changes have reflected in Tencent ecosystem. Because in Tencent, we do not only have the WeChat, we also have the Tencent News, the Tencent Video, and actually it's our ecosystem. So from the ecosystem, we can have some big data to see these consumer changes. On the health concern, we see from the Tencent News platform, there is a 30% increase in DAU, and 70% of users will search for COVID-19 news. And on Tencent Video parts, we can see there is a 30% increase in the average consumption time. And top 3 categories are entertainment, movie, TV, and series. And from the WeChat, because there is lots of people stay at home, they will spend more time online. We also see our traffic increase in moments, increased by 15 to 20%. And also a huge traffic increase in mini program usage. There can be several reasons I will explain in following presentation. And the other part is in this mini program part, we also see that lots of brands are using mini program. Even the e-commerce, the first one, e-commerce, the e-commerce such as some e-commerce platform, all these grocery brands are using this mini program to sell vegetables. So we can see there is a 147 orders increase of vegetables in mini program during the first CNY, the 7-day holidays. And even the female outfit brand, La Chapelle, has used a mini program for online sales. And in total promotion period during the CNY, the brand has achieved 3 million sales revenue in mini program. So from all these changes, even the Nike brings the esports online to see that lots of people are eager for gym. So Nike also adopted the mini program as a platform to live streaming. On February 12th, a leading coach from Nike live streamed in the mini program to do some cardio exercises and invited the viewers to follow him. So during that show, more than 62,000 viewers have watched this live streaming show. So we can see from all these points that the key observation here is we can see a booming in the mini program, and they can show in these 3 key trends. The first one is health concerns. Health concerns that is related to news. In the mini program, we also have a real-time update on the COVID-19 situation, not only in China, but also worldwide. So from the pictures shown here, you can see that we can check what is going on this COVID-19 situation, what is confirmed cases now in China, even in foreign countries. So you can see the world map here, which show that the confirmed cases worldwide. So actually, this health mini program has attracted lots of attention and usage during this special period. And second part is the e-commerce. E-commerce is the first one is the stay at home. So people have to cook for themselves. They use this mini program to purchase very conveniently. And the second one is they also use this mini program to purchase. So this part is kind of the equivalent of the e-commerce platform. And third one is a club gym. So the sports brand started to have some of the e-gym online. Even some coaches in our company have started live streaming show on this mini program. So when we are look into the travel, so we also see a key trend here in cloud travel. So due to the heavy mobile consumption in China, the Chinese tourists can cloud travel and ensure virtual tour. Here are three cases here. The first one is on March 9th. The Chengdu research based on giant panda breeding live streaming attract more than 200,000 viewers to watch the show. And even the e-commerce platform Pinduoduo has collaborated with 6 national museums in China and launched a crowd travel and souvenir sales promotion. And even the British Museum has bring the offline experience and exhibition online, and to show the Chinese travelers and even the whole world what is going on during this close down in this special period. And another thing is the travelers can also pre-book future trips through the OTA mini program. So we can see that during this special period, everyone is like streaming. Even the Ctrip chairman, board of the James Liang, started to use a mini program for live streaming for pre-sale some of the trips. Because in March, the Ctrip had launched V Plan and to release the schedule of future trips program, offering discounts on more than 10,000 hotels, 100 hotel lines, and tickets for 300 tourist attractions. So during this period, the consumers can enjoy 40% to 80% discount to buy these products, guaranteeing for full front. So on the grand launch day, the Ctrip achieved more than 70,000 orders and more than 20 million GMBs. And during this mini program live streaming, actually the 1 hour live streaming attract more than 600,000 viewers, and there is 1.6 million engagement on this mini program live streaming. And also we say that the brands and tourism boards are adapting their tones and content to respond with love and to largely leverage the social influence here. So here are a couple of cases. The first one is the Wuhan tourism have used several creative pictures to send the gratitude to other provinces for support. Because during the last 2 months, most every provinces has supported one city in Hubei provinces. So when the Wuhan the new cases are reduced to 0, which is a milestone here. So Wuhan tourism uses timing to thank all the provinces for their support. But there is a key highlight here is Wuhan provinces, the tourism has used different creatives to match the different provinces in China. Actually, from this creative, which is widespread on WeChat, lots of the Chinese travelers are excited to find that there is so many beautiful sceneries in Wuhan, which is not familiar to them previously. Actually, previously, when we talk about Wuhan, we only know Sakura or the Wuhan, the Changjiang, but we have not know that there are so many beautiful sceneries in Wuhan. So actually from this creative, so widely spread on WeChat, it will attract lots of the more attentions and give the whole Chinese people that there are so many beautiful sceneries in Wuhan. So after this creative released out on WeChat, so lots of the Chinese travelers say that the most they wanted or most the cities they would like to go is to Wuhan after COVID-19. And on the right side is some commercial brands are also donated and supported the Chinese people during the special period. And also during the Valentine's Day, they have used some adapted content for the communications with the Chinese. They are use this special day to send love to the community instead of the individual ones. So actually brands are also adapted their content in this special period. And also from the Tencent, we see also as a media platform, we also can see that the Tencent and some of the we also have some special formats and the activities to help brands to support for them to do some CSR activities during this period. So the first two pictures are the Tencent cooperated with the milk brand and Mengniu to resonate their branding with the Chinese consumers. And right side is even the WeChat Moment ads have some tailor-made formats to help brands. So the tailor-made format here is there will be some tailor-made wording here. So the wording will be to support China or to support Wuhan. So use this wording to build a more close emotional relationships between the brands and the Chinese consumers. And also, we thanks for regional efforts here to send your love and all this to the Chinese people and the whole world. Here are 3 pictures here. So we see that Dubai Tourism has also hosted a 360 experience to tour around Dubai on WeChat. And the Abu Dhabi also have sent a welcoming video on this WeChat platform, and which is also widely spread during this time. And the whole UAE is lights up in support for the Wuhan and China. So China's economy is gradually moved into a recovery mood. So we can see that during the last 2 months, the economy, especially the offline ones, are hit hard. While there is also an increase in online retails. So we can see there is a 3% YOY increase in online retail sales. And there is 85% of large and medium-sized manufacturers back to production, which is quite huge improvement, because during the Chinese New Year, the data will only be 10% to 20%. And also we have seen a 5.3 YY increase in consumption price index. And the latest day shopping festival is the latest day shopping festival also achieved a great results. More than 20,000 SKUs achieved 100% increase in sales. So all these signs show that the confidence in Chinese people, in Chinese people's the confidence in consumption are also rising up. So during this stage, when we talk about the travel industry, we can also see some good signs here. The COVID-19 is gradually turned into a pandemic with a prolonged impact across the world. So even now, the China is getting back to normal recently, but actually we can see that the whole world is also getting more seriously. So we are not expect recently we will have a outbound travel here, but from the travel willingness, actually the Chinese travelers are eager to travel. So from the places they will choose, actually first they will choose an inbound trip recently, especially in this coming Labor Day holidays. And here we can see our reports published by Dragon Trail. Dragon Trail is a travel agency in China. So here the Dragon Trail has done our tailor-made travel willingness report, and to show that, so what kind of travel the Chinese travelers would like to take. So we can see that the top 3 travel plans, the natural sightseeing, the self-drive trips, island vacations, the common thing here is the top 3 travel plans is to get more closer to nature, because all Chinese people are stay at home for a huge long time. So they would like to go out, they would like to get closer to nature. And another thing is they are also have much concerns on the safety, so they will avoid too many people in crowded space. So here is some takeaway for the very short presentation here today. We can see that there is huge booming in the cloud, many program services to send the virtual experiences, and even e-commerce here. And in travel industry, the per-sale is a tactics to secure the travelers. And some brands would like to use this CSR to resonate with the Chinese people. Well, in this place, so the brand should leverage the Chinese social platform. Also, we can use this WeChat to communicate with the Chinese travelers during this special period. And in this upcoming recovery mood, natural sightseeing and safety actually still are pinpoints. And actually now, as the Chinese people are start to get back to work and lifestyle gradually get back to normal, so the traffic is on not only on Tencent, I think also on other platforms. So always on campaigns and the mini campaigns will be a good start to restart the recovery moods. So last one, so is good news here. Actually, this is the one that I would like to use today as a Tencent VOOV meeting. Actually, the Tencent also have the video conferencing solution VOOV meeting. It's quite similar to Zoom, which we are using today. Actually, it has only launched 2 months ago, and now is available in 140 40 countries. So soon it will come to UAE. So recently, the United Nations and Tencent also have announced a global partnership to hold thousands of conversations online for the UN 75th anniversary. So hopefully we can use VOOV meeting in UAE later. Oh, it's totally free now. So this is all for today's sharing. So
thank you so much. Thank you so much, Yang, for sharing that information. I think it was very, very helpful, especially the points on the post COVID-19 sort of travel trends that we're going to start seeing. And we've received a few questions with regards to that, especially with regards to your previous about 2-3 slides, which mentioned that nature and sightseeing and self-driving were key components when people were searching for travel, right? Does that mean that they're consuming content on, say, for example, WeChat or any of Tencent's platform that relate to or that suggest that they want to go for these options, or that they're looking at nature and sightseeing at different destinations, for example?
I get one. Actually, during this special situation, so even now the Chinese people are in recovery mood, but actually we are not encouraged to go out. So during this period of time, actually we are looking for some sightseeing online. So like me, I would like to search for some of the natural video content to see. So yes, to see first, because the situation here, so in China, even now we are free to travel among the cities, but we are not encouraged to travel so quickly. So actually during this special period of time, lots of consumers are still use this cloud virtual tour to see this natural thing, because there is an interesting point here. So we can see that not only they see some of these attractions, we can also see lots of the foreign tourism industry brands use this virtual tour online. Not only this 336 pictures virtual tour, they can also use some VR, all these AR things, and to communicate with the Chinese consumers.
Fair enough. I think we're getting a few more questions, and we're getting quite a few questions. One question is, and I think this is a very interesting question, of how do you see the opportunities in the UAE based on the current situation at this point, or maybe in the foreseeable future, maybe in the next 3 to 5 months, let's say?
Yes, so I think we can look at this page. We can see actually the key challenge here is now the Chinese people are free to go among cities, but we are restricted to go to the foreign countries. So this is a time for the foreign brands, especially the UAE brands, to use this online format to continuously to communicate with the Chinese travelers. So so there is several key strategy here. The first one is even though we cannot bring the travelers right now from China to UAE, but we can still leverage this time to do some of the brands to build branding and to enhance engagement with Chinese travelers. So which means that when all these restrictions are moved, so the UAE were the top choice or their top wanted places they would like to go. So the first thing will be the branding, and the second one is if some hotels or these related brands, they can use this mini program to do some pre-sale, such as the pre-sale package to attract the Chinese tourists now. And third one is so the brands can also have adapted some content. The contents of the communications strategy to resonate with the Chinese travelers. So the key thing here is what content the Chinese people are interested. So you can use this natural sightseeing, but also you can put some emphasis on safety. So there will be several ways to continuously to communicate with Chinese consumers during this special period when everybody is locking down or restricted to travel to foreign countries.
And so I think we can take one last question. We are receiving a lot of questions, and in lieu of time, I think we can take one last question before we move to Mafengwo. And so I think from a content perspective, and I think one of the most important sort of sectors in this region is retail and shopping. And so what are some of the shopping malls doing, or at least were doing during COVID? Any insights do we have on what they were doing, or how retail was, what retail was doing to sort of combat COVID-19 when COVID-19 was very prominent in China? Do we have any data on that, or do we have any statistics?
I don't have the data right now, but actually the key challenge here, or the sad thing is actually during the COVID-19, most all stores and all shopping malls are closed in China. This is a sad thing. Also, this is a truth. So, but there is a key challenge here is if these shops or if their shopping malls or the brands there, they have some e-commerce platform. So at least they can sell their products online using the e-commerce platform or using the mini program. They can also sell the products, but the sad thing is for the shopping malls, they have to close, actually,
Okay, fine, fair enough. Thank you so much, Yang, for coming on and sharing your insights. I think this was fairly insightful. We've received a lot of questions. We will make a note of these questions and we will try and respond to them outside of the webinar. I think now we can move over to Mona. Mona,
yes. Yes.
Sure.
Well, last thing is because I also say there's lots of the question here. So here is my contact. So feel free to reach out to me through this email, WhatsApp, or the WeChat. So we can keep in touch later.
Absolutely, guys. Feel free to reach out to any of us for any other queries. We will make a note of all the questions and answers, of all the questions, sorry, coming in, and we will try and respond to each and one of them in the following week. Thank you again, Yang. Over to you, Mona.
Hi, hello. So I will share my screen to you. Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yes, I believe we can. If anyone can't, please leave a comment.
Yes, okay.
Yes, over to you, Mona.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining our webinar. And thanks MediaVantage for organizing it. I'm Mona from Mafengwo. We are the biggest travel social network in China. So as coronavirus is now spreading very quickly worldwide, and news about coronavirus is flying everywhere. So I feel actually deeply sorry and sad about this. I believe everybody wants to find out more about what is happening now in Wuhan in China and how this is shaking the Chinese travel industry. So today I will offer some insights on future tourism from our side. Firstly, I will briefly to recap you like in China, what is the life like in China now. So in China, from the middle of February, the number of new cases began to decline every day. People started to go outside and back to work. Some sightseeing began to restore tourism services. In March, the situation is keep getting better. Life gradually gets back to normal in many cities. So now in Hubei province, which is also the epidemic center, there are no more high risk areas. From 25th of March, cities except Wuhan in Hubei province reopened. Public transportation resumed operation. Those who were detained inside and outside can go back to home and work. As to the city of Wuhan, its train station reopened in 28th March for arrival, and more than 60,000 people come back to the city on that day. And shopping malls, restaurants were back to business from March 30th. The departure from Wuhan will be permitted on April the 8th. So in Beijing now, rework and reproduction rate reached above 90%. The surrounding tour resumes very quickly. In Beijing here, the main park for enjoying the sakura has provided 30% of its normal capacity, access to enter in every day. So the focus now of containing this virus has shifted to strictly prevent import cases from outbound. Yeah, this is how we resume to work, but we still have like tightly precaution measures taken in every office and in every work site. So what is the impact of COVID-19 on Chinese tourism? Actually, the past 60 days or more was just like a nightmare to this Chinese travel industry. Group tour and package products are banned to sell, both online and offline. Multiple countries applied entry restrictions to Chinese travelers, and online travel agencies had been through the biggest cancellation in the history. yeah, and more than, I think, 550 million yuan, which is supposed to be the consumption during the Chinese New Year, has now all gone. But there is a positive survey that shows 71.5% of the response would travel after the outbreak ends, and everything is becoming like stable. And more than 20% would go traveling as soon as possible after the epidemic. As the epidemic in China is under control and no new cases in majority areas, the tourism situation is actually getting better now. In March 16th, more than 3,000 A-level sightseeing scenic spots in 28 provinces resumed business, and people begin to release their huge passion of travel, especially after so many days at home. So when Ctrip began to try live broadcasting online and sell domestic hotel products with a total of 510 million viewers, it achieved about more than 1.4 million US dollar sales volume and 6,710 orders in just 1 hour. Our platform has also tried to launch a series of live broadcast shows, pre-sales, and coupons to meet these users' travel demands. So here we take Sanya, the island, as an example, the island city. By March the 22nd, no new cases has been confirmed in Sanya for more than 14 consecutive days. So by the middle of the March, Sanya's holiday tourism facilities was basically all restored, and the airport gradually resumed flights to and from key tourist source areas. The number of scenic spots reopened in the city ranks first in the country, and the average daily order volume of Hainan scenic spots in March is nearly 10 times higher than that in late February. So this is recovering. Then what were the behavior changes of travelers during this epidemic? Actually, users' preference for overseas destinations has changed. In the top 20 list of overseas popular countries, Vietnam and Singapore dropped significantly due to the issue the entry restriction policy very quickly. European countries, especially the emerging niche destinations, have attracted more users' attention due to the low tourism risk and the unique scenery, such as Croatia and Serbia, which show great friendliness to Chinese people. Their popularity rankings went up. As to Russia, due to the popularity of new Chinese movie Lost in Russia, released during the Spring Festival, the Chinese New Year, a large number of users show their interests to Russia. For countries with outbreaks abroad, the overall travel needs continues to decline. When major epidemic news related to the outbreak country appears, destination hit will rise a little bit and then decrease quickly again. Users will become more cautious about travel plans for these destinations. If the epidemic is not effectively controlled in these countries, it will have a greater impact on travel. So at present, many foreign countries and regions have imposed different levels of entry restrictions on Chinese citizens, especially the uncertainty of long-term outbound travel destinations in North America, Australia, and Europe has increased. Once the entry restrictions are lifted, we believe that users' enthusiasm for outbound travel will be released. It is foreseeable that the tourism market will gradually be back after the epidemic, and important keynotes are expected to appear in the months following the end of this epidemic, and maybe in the first Golden Week, the Chinese Golden Week, which is in October. And the travel hit will continue until next year, we think. Travelers will, with higher consumption power, are more willing to travel again once this is all over. And the travel market recovery will start from super first tier and first tier cities, middle to high consumer groups. In addition to that, as the epidemic has a greater impact on the elderly people, so it is also reminds travelers to pay more attention to the emotional care of their elders. So users pay more attention to the topic of traveling with the elderly, traveling with the family, and more people will choose to take the elderly to travel after this. So during this special period, users actually have also inspired the trend of online travel, in particularly video content, such as watching bloggers, travel vlogs, visiting museums online, and learning travel skills, photograph skills, etc. The views of these video contents even surpassed what we have on February last year. These immersive video contents indeed help these travel lovers to sit on the ground and travel. The topic of the 100 ways you can have fun at home is also a hit topic. Many users of Mafengwo said that the epidemic would eventually pass and those canceled travel plans would come true in the more beautiful site. So these young FIT travelers have multiple channels to access information and have a more clear and rational judgment on the market changes. So we believe they will become the pioneer travelers when tourism market gets recovering. Okay, this shows that different groups, they have different kind of interest in traveling after this is over. And also people are tending to spend more on travel when this is over and they want to enjoy the life. This is some kind of online crowd travel activities we have launched and we have received a huge passion from those users. So during this special period, actually users have some kind of trending topics here. The trending topics are very, I think, very interesting. So where do you want to go after epidemic is for no doubt #1 topic. And the Korean TV series Crash Landing on You is super popular in China. It is filmed both in Korea and in Switzerland. So both these, so these two cities have been the hit topic, the trending topic here. And the other trending topic, including this Ravas Trail and also K3 international train, this has been searched for a lot. So these are the trending topics during this epidemic. And by now, more than 360,000 users have participated in Make Your Travel Wish event launched by us. And more than 80,000 of them want to travel to Wuhan after the epidemic to show their support to the city. And the majority of people wish to travel to Maldives, Japan, Russia, South Korea, and other neighboring countries. So going Russia or Norway, Canada to see Aurora, and going Japan to see Olympics are the most popular experiences.
Mona?
Yes.
Sorry to interject there, but I was just wondering, and I'm sure a lot of people are wondering, does UAE sort of factor into these travel wishes? Is there, or do we have some sort of data that sort of that we can share with people who are interested on sort of what the trending travel wishes were, and if UAE does factor into it? If so, that'll be great information for them to have. So if we can sort of figure out that, then that'll be great.
Yeah, because many people have participated in this activity. So a lot of destinations here are mentioned. Of course, Dubai or UAE are included here. I think I can share some specific comments later for you. But what I mentioned here is just like the neighboring countries, Japan or maybe Russia, South Korea are mentioned more here in this activity.
Fair enough. Thank you.
So by now, we also launched this online fridge magnet event, online fridge magnet collection event. So in which we cooperated with more than 52 tourism board, including DTCM, and the different sightseeings around the world to record videos, this kind of wish videos to Chinese people. And we designed representative magnet for each destination and encourage users to collect the magnet to support global epidemic prevention and control. In this 7-day event, the total clicks achieved more than 120 million. So this is a good result. And thanks for DTCM for doing that. And during the period of Chinese fight against this epidemic, many countries around the world also have shown their great kindness and donate a lot of like PPE and medical materials to China urgently, which moved the Chinese people and caused a heated discussion on the social media recently. So Chinese citizens living in Japan began to distribute masks free of charge on the streets of Tokyo these days, giving back their gratitude to Japanese people. These countries are likely, I think, to see more travelers from China after this epidemic. And for the last part, I will give you some suggestions, like what we can do to deal with this during this epidemic. Before I do that, I'd like to introduce a little bit to you our platform in case that some people are still have no idea what Mafengwo is. So we are actually a travel social network, biggest travel social network in China. And we start in 2010. And after this 10 years, we have got over 130 million registered users, and we got 8 million daily active users every day. And also we have the information for more than 60,000 travel destinations. And the biggest value of our company is that travel content. So for on the daily basis, we have like more than 9 million these travel notes, travel blogs, question and answers, and also reviews. And monthly we have more than 700,000 long contents like travel guide, travel blogs. And we have this kind of POI, what we call point of interest. Accumulatedly, we have more than 63 million of those POIs. So we have huge contents here for people to make their travel decisions. And we cover every stage of these travelers. So before they travel, they could come to us and find useful information and make their travel plans, itineraries. And also during travel, they could use our intelligence recommendations, and also they could social our app and to look for some travel companies like that. And also after their travel, and we hope that they could write down their travel stories and upload these travel blogs. So we could in turn help millions of other travelers with their travel experiences. So this is basically what we do. And we have different kind of different categories of travel contents. Like travel notes is like a travel version of Instagram. So you have a few pictures and also maybe 200, 300 words to describe your feelings. Then it can be feed to our audience. And also travel guide, which is more comprehensive and practical guide here. So if you want to travel to somewhere, you just need to find this travel guide. It's more like an online Lonely Planet. And also travel blogs, which is personal experience record. So you can write down your travel stories in a travel blogs, and this will be viewed and will be liked by other people. And also we now have more video contents. We have a lot of key opinion leaders, KOLs here. And also we encourage these KOLs to generate more live broadcasts and also short videos, which are now the trendy forms of content. And so basically we provide you the ability and it is like an integration market solution with ads, with contents, and with data services we can have for you. So some key points, some key takeaways for you, which may help you during this epidemic. First one, I think you need to keep communicating with these Chinese travelers and show your support. That is very important. And the second one is keep the epidemic-related information in your country updated in real time. And third one, build a content production system in line with the epidemic recovery period. So probably you need to accumulate some contents or encourage your target audience to generate some contents about your sightseeing or your hotels or your business. Then this might be a big incentive during this, this time. And the fourth one is strengthen data management and analysis to make sufficient preparations for catching the opportunities of tourism recovery. And the last one is destination with high user attention in the near future should do marketing in advance. And I think Dubai is one of these kind of destinations because now the situation in Dubai actually is controlled well. And we hope that Dubai can fully contain this virus as soon as possible. So once the Chinese people are ready to go, I think Dubai should be the priority destinations there in their mind. So probably the marketing or kind of interactive contents you have been prepared in these times will work in advance. So that's some tips I want to give to you. And I hope everybody can stay safe and care for yourself, care for your family. And we can see you guys very soon after all this is over. So thank you. That is my sharing today.
Thank you so much, Mona, for sharing that. I think that was fairly insightful, especially, and I think for those of them who might not have an idea of sort of how to prepare for a content production system, what would be some of the tips you could have for brands who are thinking about it, but don't have a clear way of, how to sort of go about building a content production system? So I think what they would be interested in is how do we what sort of content works best on your platforms specifically, and how can that be used? I think would be the key points.
Okay, basically we have three kind of information. We have, we call it like OGC, UGC, and PGC, which is actually organization generated contents and professional generated contents and user generated contents. So for organization generated contents, we encourage that every organization can have like one official account on our platform for their own. So they could operate their contents by themselves. And we are so welcome that everybody can generate content on our platform, and it's totally free. And once this audience becomes your followers, then when you upload any kind of content, they will actively receive a push message to say like this organizational account has something new for you. So that is a good way to build your own account and to upload your own contents here. And for professional generated contents, usually we suggest that you can use some KOL because celebrities and KOL works so well in China. So when they say people will follow, then you just have some KOL here to generate contents for you. And for user generated contents, then maybe you can create some like hashtag topic here, or maybe you can like launch small event online so that people could actually participate in these activities and generate some reviews and the contents if they have been to the country. And then you just give them some small gifts or incentives that can work well. So you can do in these three ways and build this content system.
Okay, that's, I think that makes things a lot more clearer now. And of course, I think we will share more information in the future with brands who are interested to know more about how to sort of create a content production system, and we can discuss that at a later time.
Yeah, one thing I wanted, one thing I wanted to add here is that because, for the Chinese travelers, they don't have the habits to go to your official website. One reason is that when you open the official website, it is relatively slow here. And the other one is they just don't have these habits. So what they do is they come to these OTA platforms and they found your homepage here. So one thing they should do is actually they should have that POI page, point of interest page, on our platform. So when people they think of you and or they search the relative words of you, then they could see you just here. They don't have to go anywhere else. So that would be a big loss.
Okay, interesting. I think we are running out of time. We have completed 1 hour, so I would like to take one last question, and I'd also like to thank everyone for sending in so many questions. Do we have any data on how the ranking has changed for the UAE, as you had shown in those slides of the different ranking changes? Would we be able to share that data on see if the UAE has sort of come up in the preference, or even in the GCC or the Middle East? Which countries in the Middle East are performing better than others? Would be interesting for brands to know in this region.
Yeah, because for Middle East, I think the ranking is relatively stable, no matter it is during the epidemic or not. The number one is usually Dubai, number two is usually Abu Dhabi, and then the other countries. I can have these rankings for you later, and also for the changes of this ranking during the epidemic, I can also run that data for you. I think I will give this data to MediaVantage so they could share to you, to our audience today.
That'll be great. That'll be great, Mona. And in lieu of time, I think we're going to wrap this session up now. Firstly, I'd like to thank Mona and Yang for their time and joining us from China. It's been a very, very insightful session. I think we've covered a lot of important points, but I think one of the key takeaways here is to sort of be prepared for once this pandemic ends, because as China has shown the world, this pandemic will end, and it's about how we can sort of maximize everything that we've sort of lost in these last few months and sort of make up for lost time. And with that, yes, and I also receiving a lot of questions with regards to will people receive this presentation. We will ensure that the decks presented here will be shared with all our attendees and everyone who's registered for this webinar. And I hope before I sign off that this was insightful. And I hope everyone is staying home and staying safe. Mona and Yang, we will speak again very soon. And I hope you take care.
Yeah.
And we will see everyone very soon. And thank you again for tuning in for this webinar. And for more updates, please like us on LinkedIn or Instagram. And please share your feedback on how the session went. And if you'd like to see more of this type of webinar. I look forward to seeing every one of you soon. Thank you so much again for tuning in.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.